Hi everyone, Sher here. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a really exciting Christmas in July DIY that I want to share with you. I've been scouring Pinterest and YouTube over the last little bit, and I came across a couple of projects that I just absolutely loved. And I thought, hey, why don't I incorporate both of these into one? So I'm going to insert a picture here of the two projects so you can get an idea of what I have in mind. So as you can see, it entails some Christmas gift bags, some wood, and a few other just simple accessories that you might already have laying around at home. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually go over the items that you're going to need to do this project. Start with, you're going to need some wood. Now, I don't want the thought of, a wooden project to scare you away, because it really isn't that difficult, especially if you do not have any wood cutting tools in your arsenal, like I do not. I just simply went to Home Depot, and as long as you purchase the wood there, they will cut it to whatever lengths you need. So this particular piece of lumber that I got measured 1 inch thick by 12 inches wide, and it was 6 feet long. So I had a fellow there that was helping me, and he cut these pieces into 15-inch lengths for me. And then I had another one left over. It's not quite 15 inches, it's, I don't know, maybe 10 or so. And I'll be able to use that for another project. So you'll notice that there are definitely some splinters on here, and I'm going to need to do a little bit of sanding for sure to get this nice and smooth so that nobody hurts themselves. It's actually pretty smooth already, but it does need a little sanding. So I actually just went into my garage. I found one of these little sanding blocks, so I plan on using that. I think that will work pretty well. And then I also found, lo and behold, we had sandpaper out there too. I didn't even know we did. So this comes in different sizes of grit here. So I think I should be able to do a fairly decent job of getting these nice and smooth with what I actually have just kicking around here at home already. So after you've got your wood all nicely sanded, you're going to want to stain it. This is just the stain that I chose. You can use whatever stain you like. This is from Minwax. It's a penetrating wood stain in the color of Jacobine 2750. I really liked the way that looked. At the store, they actually showed all the different stains that they have and what they actually look like, so you can get a really good idea of whatever, the finish that you're wanting to achieve. You can definitely find it there. They come in all different colors. So this is the one that I chose. So to apply your stain, you can do that in a couple of different ways. You can use one of these little foam brushes, which I picked up at Dollar Tree. I had these in my stash at home. Or you can use a lint-free, nice, soft cotton cloth. Make sure it has no lint in it, because you don't want to get that into your project. And then you can just simply dip your cloth into the stain. While you're staining, you're also going to want to make sure you have your hands covered with some kind of gloves. I just happen to have these kicking around at home. I use these for gardening and all different kinds of projects around the home. So yeah, you don't want to get the stain on your hands. I can't imagine how difficult it would probably be to get that stuff off. Now, the most exciting part of this whole project is going to be your Christmas bag. So I was very fortunate enough to have a friend of mine send these to me last Christmas, because I could not find these at my Dollar Tree, and these are my all-time favorite bags. But by all means, you probably have some of these maybe kicking around in your stash, or maybe you have a totally different kind of bag. Look around as Christmas gets a little closer. I'm sure there'll be all kinds of things available, but these are the two that I'm going to be using. And the great thing about these is they actually have the image printed on both sides, so I can get two projects out of just one bag. So I've got this one, and then I also have this adorable little truck with the tree in it. Oh my goodness, that is just too cute. So to adhere the bags to the actual wood, I'm going to be using some Mod Podge, and I got the matte finish. So the other part of the project is going to entail some kind of a glass container. Now I have 3 different options here. I'm not exactly sure which one I'm going to be using yet, but it's always nice to have options. So I have this one, and all 3 of these containers all came from Dollar Tree. And then I have this really cute one here. It says homemade on it, and it's already got a little hanging lantern part to it. And then I also picked up this other cute little glass little jar here. So like I said, I'm not sure yet which one of those I'm going to be using, but either of those I'm sure will look great. So to hang our little jars, we're going to need some kind of a hook. So I picked these 2 little hooks up at Home Depot while I was there. So I got 2 packages of those, because I plan on making 4 of these. Now, I'm also planning on lighting the jar up, so I have a couple of different options to do that as well. So I have these cute little cork LED lights that I picked up at Dollarama. They were $2 a strand. And then I also have these other little string lights that come with the bigger battery pack, which I kind of don't think I'm going to be probably going with this one, only because it's going to be really hard to hide the battery pack. But either way would probably work just fine. So that, again, that's another option. A lot of you probably have these kicking around at home as well. So in order to hang my finished project, I believe I'm going to be hanging it up with some twine. I think that's the way I'm planning on doing that. So again, I just had some of this kicking around home as well. So I really want to personalize these projects because they are going to be gifts this Christmas. And so if I had access to a Cricut machine, I would definitely be printing out my own vinyl letters, but I do not. So I just picked up this little package of these little alphabet stickers from Dollar Tree the other day. So I am really hoping that these are going to work out for me. I have no idea what they're going to end up looking like, but I'm going to give them a whirl and we'll see what happens. So I thought I would just share with you the total cost for each one of these projects because, you know what? They actually aren't as much as what you would think. The most expensive thing in the whole project was the wood, of course. That was $20 for the whole 6-foot length of wood. But when you consider you can get 5 projects out of this, it really isn't that expensive. The hooks cost me $7, so I got 4 of those for $7. The wood stain was also a little bit pricey. It was $10.75 for that little can, but I think a little is going to go a long way, or I'm hoping it will anyways. The 4 jars cost me $5.50, so I got those at Dollar Tree. The Mod Podge, I think that hopefully will get away with just using 2, so those were each $1.25 at Dollar Tree, so $2.50. And the lights all cost $1.25 as well, except for the cork ones were $2. So I'm not sure which ones I'm going to end up using yet. So I just I estimate about $5.50 for those. The 2 Christmas bags, they were free for me because my girlfriend gave them to me. But if you were to purchase them at Dollar Tree for like making this project where I'm going to be getting 4 out of it, you need 2 bags, so $2.50. Grand total for everything would be $53.75. And if you split that into 5 different projects with those 5 pieces of wood, each one comes out to be about $10.75 per project, which I think is an amazing, amazing price for something that is just so special and, you know, something that you made, and I'm hoping it's going to turn out really, really amazing. So please stick around because I'm going to show you how to put these together. So I just finished sanding all 4 of my boards. They're all nice and smooth. There's no rough edges. There's no more little catches on the sides here that's going to hurt anybody. Yeah, I just did it all by hand. It actually didn't take me that long at all. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just decide which side is going to be my front, which is going to be my back, which on this piece is very easy because there's a huge crack right down the center of this. So this is going to be my back. So here's my front. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply my stain now. So I've got my gloves on, so I don't have to worry about staining my hands while I'm doing this. And I just gave my little stain can here a little bit of a shake. It says to stir it. I'm just going to stir it with this little straw so that I can throw it away when I'm all done. So here we go. Now I am just going to stain only this one board inside because I got good lighting in here and it's just easier to set up my camera. But the rest I'm actually going to go stain outside. It says that you should do it in a well-ventilated area. Okay, yeah, there is some stuff on the bottom of the can. So yeah, I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. I'm glad I got my little straw out here. And I've just protected my surface with a garbage bag, which is probably not a bad idea. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and dip my little rag right into the stain. I don't think we're going to need too much. And it says to apply it in the direction of the grain. So my grain is all going this way, so I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of drag it along here. Oh, I love this color. Kind of like an espresso, but it's got some brown to it as well. So it's just a nice dark brown. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this all covered and then I will show you what it looks like. I'm not going to do the back just because it'll waste, you know, I don't want to waste my stain, but I will definitely do all the sides. And say when I come back, I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm all finished staining. This is how it turned out, and I'm really happy with the colors. Look at all the grains and how it just brings out the grain of the wood. Wow, that looks so pretty. So you just keep adding more and more stain until you get the desired, you know, darkness that you want. And I did get the sides here as well. So yeah, so I'm gonna finish staining the rest of these outside because it is pretty stinky. Probably a good idea to get into a well-ventilated area. And I'm gonna let these dry, and tomorrow I will show you how to put the rest of this little project together. So here's my finished project. I am so happy with the way this turned out. I just love it. I did, however, run into a few little roadblocks. I made a few little boo-boos that I was able to fix, and I think actually that they turned out to be unexpected little boo-boos that actually ended up being better in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and show you now step by step how I put this together, and I'll share some little tips that I learned along the way. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and cut your image out of your little Christmas gift bag here. And like I was mentioning before, it's great because you're going to be able to get 2 projects just with one Christmas bag. Just get rid of all these handles here. All right. So I've got my bag all cut now, and now what I need to do is I just need to kind of decide. I am going to have to make this a little bit more narrow so that my jar will fit on my piece of wood. And you'll notice that there are a couple of little holes here where the handles were. I'm not going to worry too much about those. I am going to just cut this and get it nice and straight because I'm actually going to be covering up these little holes with my washi tape afterwards anyway, so I'm not too worried about those being visible. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this down to the right size that I want, and then I'll show you how to go ahead and Mod Podge this onto the wood. So I'm happy with the size that I have here now for my picture. So now the next step is to actually go ahead and Mod Podge this right onto my wood. So I've just put down a piece of parchment paper, and I'm going to just simply use some of my Mod Podge. This is the matte finish, and I've got my little foam little brush here, and you're going to want to make sure you put a really good layer, and then you're going to attach this to the wood. So here we go. I just basically just smeared this all around here like this, and then just use your little brush. You want to really make sure you get it on the edges here because you want to make sure that those get stuck down really, really well. Okay. So now you want to put this onto your board. Don't worry if you get some actually on the picture because you're going to be Mod Podging this after anyways. So you just want to line this up kind of where you want to have it go here. Make sure it's straight. Now because we are going to be putting a border on here anyway, it's not as critical to get this completely even, but you want to do as best you can. And then you just want to really make sure that you get all the air bubbles. Press really, really, really hard and force all the air bubbles to the outside here. So I'm just going to really work on that, and when I come back I'll show you what the next step is. So the Mod Podge actually dries really quickly, and I have made sure that I've got all the extra glue kind of squished right out to the edges and made sure everything is really adhered really well. I'm not too worried about Mod Podging over this all over the corners and edges right now because I am going to be covering them up with this washi tape anyway, so that's going to make sure that they are really well adhered. And I will be actually putting a thin layer of Mod Podge over my whole project just to protect everything and to also set my letters when I do my personalization. Now I do want to tell you a little tip that I got that I figured out along the way. Some of these projects that I had seen DIYs on had taken, they had kind of distressed around the edges of all the picture here, and then what they had done is used like a hand electric orbital sander, and it looked really cool, and I really wanted to have that look as well on my picture. So when I tried to do that with mine, of course I don't have an electric sander, so I just took some sandpaper and I tried to roughen up the edges. Well, I made a huge mess All it did was tear the paper, and I kind of panicked. I thought, oh my God, I've wrecked my picture. That's where this black washi tape came into play, because I needed something that would kind of hide my little boo-boo there that I made. So I didn't have any luck with sanding. Like I said, I think you need one of those electric handheld sanders to get that really rustic edge kind of around. What it does is it kind of exposes some of the wood, and it just makes this kind of a jaggedy edge, and it looks really cool. But I couldn't get that look, so I had to fix it. So I just put this black washi tape on it, and you know what, in the end I think it actually looks really good, because it goes really well with the black hook and my black little jar here, the top of the jar. So it all, you know what, it all came together in the end anyways. So the next step is to actually go ahead and personalize with these cute little stickers that I got from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to show you how I managed to get them on relatively straight and fairly evenly spaced together. So as I mentioned before, if I actually had my own Cricut machine, I would have gone ahead and made my own vinyl letters and personalized these myself. But I don't have access to that, and I actually did go and check out prices at my local printing shop, and they wanted just a ridiculous amount of money to do that as well. So this is what I came up with. I bought these stickers from Dollar Tree. Look, you get 370 pieces, so you get 2 sheets of all these stickers. They give you a lot of the same like letters, like, so you can make a lot of different names and combinations, and it's nice to have the numbers here as well. So I think this worked just fine on the one that I made for me and Perry. I didn't put Megan's name on here. There just wasn't enough room, and she's really not going to care anyway. And yeah, I think they turned out pretty darn good for just cheap, inexpensive stickers from Dollar Tree. I actually achieved a fairly decent look, I think. So let me show you how I actually got these, you know, fairly evenly spaced apart, and how I was able to get them fairly straight. So on this picture that I just glued onto the board, I'm not going to actually personalize it with the name yet, because I don't exactly know who this is going to be going to as far as the gifts go, and I don't know what the year is going to be, but I do know that I am going to be having established and then a year down here. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you with the EST how I put this on. So what you're going to need is a piece of parchment paper, and what I did was I just folded it in half so I have a nice straight edge here to work with. And then what you're going to do is just basically just peel your little letters off. Here, let's start with one that I've already used. So you just grab one of your letters, and they are a little bit flimsy. You have to be a little bit careful. So I've got my little E here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put this right on the top of my parchment, and I'm going to put it about halfway on. So half of my letter is sticking off the parchment paper, just like this, and I'm going to continue along until I get my word or my name or whatever that I'm going to be working on. So then the next one is going to be the S. So I'm just going to grab the S here, and then I'm going to just evenly space, and I'm going to line it up kind of along the bottom so that it's straight with the E. So this is what I've got so far. I'm going to continue along here and put the T on next, and then I'm going to show you how to put this onto the project. So here is my little EST for established, and now I'm just going to simply transfer it right onto my project. Because the parchment paper isn't very sticky, they are really easy to take off. Okay, so once you're happy with the placement, and the beautiful thing about the parchment paper as well is you can see through to the other side, so you can see exactly where you're going. You can line it up, and once you're happy, you just simply give it a little push. Put your letters down right onto the bag there, like that. And then I just hang on to the letters with one finger, and then just pull the parchment away and press them down the rest of the way. So there you have it. I've got my little EST, and then I'm going to put the year over here, and I'll be putting the family name up here once I decide who these are actually going to go to. So now the next step is to put our little hanger on here, and I'm going to show you how I actually hang this on the wall as well. And yeah, we're getting close to being done. So next I'm going to go ahead and attach my little hook here that I got from Home Depot. With my project, I put it up fairly high because you can adjust, you know, the hanging length of whatever your jar is going to be. You can, you know, depending on what you end up using. I made my own little hanger out of twine, so yeah, it's fairly adjustable. So I thought the higher that I have the hook, the better, and then I can adjust where I want my jar to end up laying. So all I did was I just figured out where the middle here was, and then I'm going to make a couple little marks with a pin and where my little screws are going to go. And then I took a little nail because I'm going to be screwing in these screws, and I didn't want the wood to crack, so I'm just going to kind of just get the hole started a little bit so that it hopefully won't split. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the little screws that are provided here, and we're going to attach this. So there's my little hook all screwed into place there now. The next thing I want to do is I actually had some of these little, I don't know if they're called eyelets or whatever they are, but they're for picture hanging, and I just did pick these up. Oh, I've had these in my stash for quite some time. They're fairly long, so they bite right into the wood here pretty good, and the wood itself isn't really that heavy. So this is how I plan on attaching these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use my little nail here, and what I did was I just kind of punched a little hole here and over here, and then I just simply screwed these little eyelets in, and then I'm going to show you how I made the cute little hanger. So I've got my little eyelets in place. The hardest part is just getting these in straight. So yeah, just kind of make sure that when you're doing that, that you kind of keep that in mind, that they're going in straight. Now I was going to show you how to do the handle next, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and Mod Podge this so that while I'm making the handle, the Mod Podge will have had a chance to dry so that I can put my washi on, and then we're almost at the end of this project already. Hard to believe how quickly this comes together, hey? I'm not going to be personalizing with the family name yet, so when I'm Mod Podging, all I want to do is just sort of the edges, and I want to make sure that I Mod Podge over these letters so that they'll stay in place for me. I'm not going to do this whole picture yet, because if I put the Mod Podge on now, when I do put my family letters on here, they're not going to stick. They're really going to be difficult to get to stick on here. So I'm going to hold off, but once I do that, I'll be able to come back with my Mod Podge and just kind of go over everything nice and lightly, and it'll look awesome. So let me go ahead and just kind of seal all the edges here and seal in where I've got my letters. There's a little bit left in this bottle. I think I'll have enough here. So I'm just going to go around. This will also, just to kind of make sure that everything is going to stay in place. So I'm going to go ahead and just go all the way around here. And I definitely want to make sure I get some on my little letters. Now this all will dry clear. So you just want a fairly thin layer. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to make sure all my strokes are going this way. So next I want to make this little rope. Basically all I did was I just took some of my twine that I had on hand, and I just took 3 strands of it and I braided it together and simply just tied it in a little knot here on both sides. And I did put, where I cut, I did put a little dab of hot glue so that this wouldn't fray or unravel and come apart. So that is my next step. I'm going to go ahead and braid some of this cord, and we're going to put the little handle on. So a little trick to help making the braiding process a little easier is I just took a little piece of tape and I just taped this to my counter like so. That way it stays in place while you're braiding, and yeah, it makes it a lot easier. So I've got a fairly long piece of twine all braided together here. So now you just have to kind of decide how long you actually want this to be. I don't think it needs to be too terribly long. And then you just basically just stick it right through your little eyelet here and tie it on, and then like I said, when you cut it off, make sure you put a little dab of glue on there just so it doesn't fray. So I just finished braiding another 3 little pieces of this twine together, because this is actually going to form the handle for my little jar here. And basically all I'm going to do is glue this right to the jar like this, and I'm going to put it more to the back because when I hang it I want it to sit more flush on the wood. I also put a little bit of glue right on the end here so that the knot won't unravel. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this right to my jar, and the glue actually holds on there really well. So I've got my handle adhered to my glass jar now, and all that's left to do now is just hang it right on my little project. Look at how cute that is looking already. Oh my gosh. Now you can make this as long or as short as you want, and remember you're probably going to put some flowers or something in here, so You don't want it to be too close to the hanger, and you want to make sure you leave yourself a little bit of room. And see why I put the hanger more close to the back? Because if I put it close to this way, it would be kind of tippy. So this way it just kind of sits and lays more flush with the wood. So the last thing I need to do now that the Mod Podge is dry, I can't believe how fast that stuff dries. I'm going to go ahead and put my washi to kind of frame this all out, and then I'm basically done. So I actually found this washi tape. Isn't it pretty? It's sparkly and everything. I actually bought it for more of a Halloween application, but I'm really glad that I did find this. I actually got it at London Drugs. So I'm going to just simply go around and just outline my little picture here. And this is really going to just kind of, you're going to see how it just makes everything kind of pop, and it's just going to finish everything off. And I'm also going to hide these two little holes here. I think that sparkly washi tape just totally finishes and sets this piece right off. I absolutely love the way this looks. So now all I need to do is just dress up my little jar, and I'm going to actually insert a few different ways that you could do this. I've come up with a few different ideas. It's endless. It really is. I mean, you could put flowers, you can put lights, you could put fake snow in the jar. You could do so many different things. So I will start you off with a few ideas, but I think the sky really is the limit. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little tutorial. I'm really excited for Christmas now. I can't wait to make some more of these. I hope Dollar Tree brings these bags out again, and if they do, I will be stocking up for sure. And yeah, happy Christmas in July, everyone, and I hope you're all doing well. And until next time, I will catch you again.